It goes back a long time. Don't know if I want to admit it, but I've been teaching since 1982. I have a Bachelor of the Arts in education, elementary education, and bilingual education, and then a minor in Spanish. And so I started out as a bilingual teacher with third graders. And then after a few years, I taught for a couple of years at regular elementary. And then I left after I had a child, but then I started teaching part-time for the tech schools. So adult education, adult basic education, adult ESL. So the GED program, citizenship, ESL, things like that. And then after that, I went into adult workplace education. So I taught in a plastics factory, in a chocolate factory. And while I was doing that, I got a phone call asking if I would do screening for ESL for an elementary district. So I did that, and then they asked me if I would pick up some teaching time. So I did that, and then I went to, I taught ESL at a middle school, and then I went to where I thought was going to be my forever school district, and I was kindergarten through 6th grade ESL and the district coordinator for ESL. And then I took a summer job at a seminary teaching priests and seminarians from all over the world English. And that I left the public schools. I've been here now for 8 years. And yeah, it's incredible. But then that also is what was the drive to go for a doctorate, because I went, you know, in the K-12 system, if you have a master's, that you're pretty much at the top. And then I came here and it's like, whoa, everybody's a doctor, and none of the women were. So it was just kind of, that was my impetus to begin a doctoral program. The overarching one is interculturality. I have a lot of different ideas about, I haven't narrowed down a dissertation topic yet. We have this phenomenal resource, right, of all these international students, and which is really, in the Catholic Church today, it's becoming very, very diverse, especially with a rapidly growing Latino population. Vietnamese is growing rapidly. And so interculturality is truly a workplace skill that's needed in order for these men to be effective ministers. But we have a real divide that's visible if you go in the lunchroom. You have the young white guys over here, and then you have all the international students. And they're missing a huge opportunity to train for their future ministry by interacting with these students. So we've made progress, but not enough yet. So in their formation, what they call it is that there are 4 pillars: human, academic, pastoral, and spiritual. So I am kind of working on rewriting that formation to embed interculturality into each of these areas so that it's not an optional choice. Took a summer class kind of because it was available, but it was literacy and the imagination. I might not have the title correct, with Dr. Carmen Medina. And that's where it was, that's where I really started going with this 4 pillars thing. Like, just use your imagination, just think outside the box. How could this be rewritten? And so that was a wonderful experience. And then last summer, I had whiteness and privilege, and I also took dialogue education. And I created a curriculum that was through dialogue education and focusing on white privilege and all of the different social justice concepts that go out of that. And I created a curriculum that I worked with the students on, and it was just, it was wonderful for all of us. I mean, because a lot of my students will permanently stay in the US, and yet a lot of international students that we've had come thinking that the US is like a Shangri-La, and really eye-opening for them to hear that the reality that we still have as far as racism, religious intolerance, LGBTQ, all of the different others that are out there. But these are the people that they will be ministering to, and they need to know the story. So there have been a lot of other good experiences too, but those are the ones that right off the top of my head come to mind. I was the TA once for one of Carmen Medina's classes. I was doing, is it L650, I think, which is the very first course. And I completed my master's 24 years before I started this program. So the first, that L650 was just getting used to the online format, writing academic papers again, all the reading. And I just felt like I didn't necessarily absorb everything. It was just trying to keep up. So when she was looking for someone, I thought this is going to be a great opportunity for me to review this material and really cement it now that I've had some other coursework. The unfortunate part was she was not the teacher I had for L650. So all of her readings for that class were different from the ones that I had. So I had to really kind of start over, but it was a great experience in that, well, we know by research, you learn most when you're teaching it, right? So it really helped me internalize the information from that class. At first, I was disappointed that I only had one class the first semester. In retrospect, it was the best thing that happened, because it did allow me time to learn how to work the whole Canvas and all of that, and get back into the groove of academics. So that's one thing. Another is, don't wait until the last date of that posts are due, or nobody will respond to your posts and you don't have the opportunity to learn anything from your classmates through your post. So that's something. So I think you do have to be really cognizant about what other demands you have in your life. Because if you want to be successful, you have in the program, you've got to be able to allot the amount of time that it needs, but yet there has to be some kind of work-life balance. Or you won't have any relationships left when it's over, right? So I think that's an important aspect. Also, don't be afraid to get to know your teachers, even though it's via email. I find that they have been incredibly helpful if I do have a question, or we'll have a phone call with a teacher, and that I do miss some of the face-to-face stuff, but that is a nice substitute for it. At least then it's not just words on a screen. You have a voice or something that that you can connect with.